getting ready to plant these seeds. Now these are going to be for my fall garden, so don't get freaked out because it's too late for spring. But no, I'm intending for these to grow and be ready to produce for my fall garden. If I plant them now, I figure they'll be ready to start producing sometime mid-August, and hopefully will continue to produce through the fall. So that's my plan. Now these tomatoes right here, these were expensive, and there's just a very, very few seeds in here, so I want to be careful with them. What I'm going to do, move these other ones over because I want to show you. See this right here? Can you see that cup? Where is that? I don't know if you can see it. Let's try. Move it up here. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle out a few of these seeds onto this. There's not very many in here. I'm just going to sprinkle a few out. How many do I have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's make it an even dozen. 11, 12. Okay. They're stuck on the envelope. Look at that. Can you see on the inside of the envelope? Probably not. Anyway, they're stuck on the glue on the envelope. Stick that back in. I'm hoping that this procedure, what I'm doing, is going to work on this. It works on very, very tiny seeds like amaranth, say carrots and things like that that are really small. But what you do is if you take a toothpick and you, wet it. You can lick it or do whatever, but I'm going to use some water and stick it to the seed. The seed will stick to your toothpick. Do you see that? No, here am I. Uh-oh, it fell off. Uh-oh. I have to look on the floor in a minute. Let me do it again. Do it quickly, I suppose. Don't want to let it dry off. But just put on the wet toothpick next to the seed and it automatically picks it up. And then you can put it in your soil. Just touch it to the soil and then rinse the toothpick off and do it again. And that way you can place them exactly where you want them in your pot. I mean, it's okay to tap out the seeds and to sprinkle them in your pot. But if you only have a few and you don't want to waste any of them, this is a good way to do it. Now the directions that I saw on one of the other ones says tomatoes germinate better if you put them just barely covered so they can actually get some light. So I'm putting them just right on the top of the soil. If they're spaced pretty good, if they're not too close together, they're easy. It's almost as easy to get them out as if you had one of those divided pots. Now let me look on my floor and see if I can find the one that I dropped. I had swept my floor easier. I had swept my floor earlier. You know, there's dirt on it now and I don't see that seed. Oh well. Okay, let me tap out one more then, because I wanted 12. But that really works really, really well. If you've got just a very small amount of seeds, they're small seeds. This does not work on big seeds. But small seeds like these tomatoes, a wet toothpick, hold it to that, and then you can just place them exactly in your pot, exactly where you want them. There we go. Now I've got my dozen tomatoes planted. I've already got the label in the pot. Now all I'm going to do in here is just barely cover these seeds with this starter mix that I've got. Barely see them in there, so I'm just not even an 1/8 of an inch. They're just barely covering them. And then what I'm going to do is use my sprayer and spray them real good. Oops. And spray them really hard. And when they're wet, you can see the seed. And kind of get it in there. Just barely in there. There's another one right there. I just want to barely coat them, barely cover them. Okay. And I'm going to wash off my finger while I'm doing this because I got it in the dirt. But you want to really, I mean, this soil was already wet, but you want to get it really wet. The idea in this point is to make the seeds that you just planted kind of settle down into the crevices in the dirt. You see anything, just kind of push it down a little bit. But you don't want it to be you don't want it to be covered completely. Just kind of covered. So there we go on those. So I've got those seeds planted, and that's what I do for the little bitty seeds that I only have a very few of that are precious to me. If they're common seeds, then I don't care. But something like that was expensive and they only sent a few, that I don't want to waste any of the seeds, and that is a really good way to do it. I hope you learned something from this. Bye, y'all.